expecting from that. And then I'm going to share some available resources. There's a lot out there, a lot of communities that are getting together so that they can share some of their knowledge with other security professionals, auditors, legal folks, and whatnot. And then where to start. So if we look at the NIST definition, there are three different models that are out there. There's an infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, and software as a service. And it could be delivered in many different ways, whether it's a private cloud, a public cloud, or a hybrid. From my experience, I'm going to be sharing more of my experience based on software as a service on the public side. Now, cloud, the term cloud came out early of last year, maybe the year before, and people's response was, oh no, what is it? What does it mean? And then it gradually changed towards, oh, there's security issues with it. Why in the world would anybody want to go in that direction? So in 2008, a survey was done by IDC, and IDC asked the question, rate the challenges and issues ascribed to cloud or on-demand services. And they rated security as the #1 concern that people have. But then what does that really mean? Is it the technical security side? Does the cloud cannot meet the security requirements of everybody? Or is it just, give up, don't even worry about going to the cloud? Another survey came out by Information Week earlier this year, February, and it reached out to 519 business technology professionals. And they listed security as still the #1 concern for not going or using cloud services. 77%, though, said there's a huge cost savings if we do decide to go in that direction. So, again, security is another concern, but people don't really know what that meant. There was a few slides that talk about security incidents. One of them was the Google attack. And in Google, they said in mid-December, they had a targeted, sophisticated attack against their corporate network. Not on their services that they offer out to the world, but on their corporate network. So a lot of articles came out after this. A lot of security professionals cited it was a security issue against the cloud. Other security professionals said it was the result of one vulnerability, and that vulnerability was either Internet Explorer or Adobe. And there's one article that I actually came across, a report from ISEC Partners. And ISEC Partners actually lists, here are the things that could have happened or how it happened. As a matter of fact, Alex Estamos' presentation yesterday hinted on that. He said that the attack was actually an attack on an employee. And that employee was the one that allowed that individual to get into the corporate network. And once that individual was in, they escalated their privileges and found other means to connect to other resources within Google. Now, part of that report that ISEC has highlighted 4 things, which I thought was interesting. He said attackers are ignoring the front door and trying to find those employees that would respond to any malware downloads or Facebook links or anything like that. So the employees are the ones that are actually allowing a lot of these attacks from getting in. The other thing that he noted was current antivirus solutions are not working. And one of the reasons why these are not working is because attackers are actually taking the malware, modifying it, and testing it against the antivirus to see if the antivirus is going to detect it. If it doesn't, great. That's a good malware for them to use. Another one that he noted was patching sometimes is not enough because a lot of the exploits were targeted on zero-day exploits. And the last one is you might be playing in the big leagues. So from the small mom-and-pop shops all the way up to Google's to the Microsoft of the world. I spoke to a few companies, their IT department. They didn't have a lot of security folks there. And I asked them, are you looking into your environment to see if you've been attacked, or do you have anything in place that would help you to detect something like this? And their response was, well, I don't see why we would have to do it. I mean, the attacks are focused on Google, most likely going to be on eBay's or Microsoft. We don't have anything interesting to these attackers for them to attack us. And that's pretty scary. I think the other part of that is they didn't know how to detect or look into that. And so that's why communities are getting together and putting or sharing information, such as ISEC's report. And by the way, ISEC's report is available online. That can be downloaded. The link is at the bottom of the page. So when I look at security, running a security program for a service provider, not only do I have to worry about implementing the right controls for the company, the policies, awareness presentations, you name it, just whatever goes into a standard security implementation. I also have to worry about some of the concerns that our users are taking to bypass IT and security. One of the business units back in 2004 came to the IT department and said, look, we want to use this online service as on-demand service. The IT team responded back with, we can build it for you. Just give us a year and a half, give us the right amount of budget, and we'll be able to put it in place. And the business unit said, yeah, we're going to wait for that. And because they have a credit card and signing authority, they went around the IT department and the security and decided to go on and do it themselves. Another experience I had, I was actually sitting down in a meeting room with the product team. And the product team said, Randy, we need to go through this presentation on what we're introducing out to the market. Let me go get it. So he got onto his computer, logged onto Google Share, and when he opened it up on the screen, you can see all the other documents that he saved on there with titles that would lead me to believe that those are sensitive documents. This is back in 2004, 2005 timeframe. So it was pretty scary to see that they're actually doing that. I had to sit down with him and that person's manager and go through the process of why thou, shall not do this. But what was funny about that was we were sitting down there and he started making this list. And at the end of the meeting, I said, what is that list for? And he goes, here are the names of all the other employees in this company that are doing the same exact thing that I'm doing. And if you're going to, get me for this, you better go and talk to all these other people and do the same thing to them. So there was a lot more employees out there. So that raised another concern. And the concern was, how do we get in front of this? How do we get in front of all these employees that are making decisions to use the cloud and not have to get authority or get approval for that? And we came up with, well, we have to do a better job in managing risk. And when I say we, it's no longer the security team, it's no longer the IT team, it's now the individuals of the company that have to be able to manage the risk better. And the only way we can do that is through policy and awareness and hope that that works. It's not going to work completely, but we're hoping that that'll work. And that's still true, that still holds true today. Other companies, what they ended up doing, blocking access to certain sites. Not allowing people to bring in certain devices or having a policy that says you can't bring in certain devices. Then iPhones came out, now iPads, all these different devices that allow people to connect on Facebook without even having to connect onto the network. Some employees figured out what the username and password is to connect onto the Wi-Fi. It just gets harder and harder to